I thought it was probably time for another craft vlog. So, the long-running things are basically the same. So, my Kaleidoscope blanket. I'm back to making more triangles, but for a good reason. Because I've also made some octagons. That's right, I get different shapes. So, last time I mentioned that I've been putting triangles together to make these nice blocks. Squares were the first thing I made in this project. So those. And my polyhedrals. Octagon. Now these, they're taking me like 2-3 days each to make. I think I'm quite slow, but they're big, like compared to these triangles. I've also screwed up my nerve, and I've decided to start putting things together. So I have octagons. They go together with these squares, and then these. And if that's hard to picture for you, they end up like this. So the way the blanket is arranged, it's two pairs of colours. So you see the dark pink, and the blue and the blue. So the pinks and purples go in one direction across, and then the blues go in the other direction. So each of these pairs will go with each of these colours, which is why there's 9 blocks. 9 blocks. That's the wrong number. 18 blocks. It's 9 different colours, 9 different combinations anyway. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of these so far. They're actually surprisingly easy. I was pleasantly surprised it wasn't actually as complicated as I'd convinced myself it was going to be. So that's going to be amazing. So there's going to be 9 of these, so I'm almost halfway with the piecing, but I've still got to make 4 more of these octagons, and I need more of the 2 colours of triangles here so that I can keep putting more of these blocks together. But it's getting there. It's getting there. I'll babble while I put these back together because I don't want to forget what I'm doing. So I've got to make sure that I don't do any of the combinations twice, because no, then that'll throw off the colour scheme. But it's a decent wodge of crochet material. This is going to be super cozy. So they will go together with my my other pieces. So the octagons will go, and then these will be in the spaces between the octagons. Point and point. So that'll be fun. It'll be grand. So that's the blanket. I haven't done anything else with my shawl, so I'm not going to waste your time talking about that. But I've managed to do some sewing as well. Give me a second. Ah, magic. I've made a dress, a whole dress. So I'm going to shift you around here. So it has pockets. And this quite possibly the most me thing I've ever made. Back in. Yeah, put you back there just to get my ankle. It's all good. So yes, made of corduroy, so it's going to be super cozy in the winter. I'd done most of the sewing for this. It was just that I was being a wimp. I didn't want to put the rivets in because it's actually punched through fabric. So if I've messed it up, it would be awkward. But done it. And they're not in the right place because I've made this too big for me. But it's fine. It's great. It's like teal and covered in stars. It's fine. I'll forgive it for being too big. So that's blanket and some sewing. Can't remember if I showed you the baby blanket last time I was doing this. It's going to be just for my friend's kid while she sits nicely in her carrier, pram. These are all words I could have been imagining, but quite nice. It was quite simple once I got the hang of it. It's going to be nice and cozy. She is also going to be getting another cardigan, but I have buried it somewhere. Existential crisis. It was also a small matter of finishing off something I started, I want to say must be like 7 or 8 years ago, I think. It's a baby cardigan with bats. Because the good thing about being able to make things is that you can make them just however you want, really. So that'll be lovely once I've finished sewing in all the ends, giving it a collar. It also came with baby boots. Thank you, that is 2 of my fingers. Whole new person, yo. Also for child, can you tell I'm excited? There's just something satisfying about baby clothes. I think it's that they're about 1,000,000 times smaller than what I would have to knit to clothe myself, for example, because I'm tall. I take a lot of knitting. Babies don't. Babies compact. Babies are by their very nature small, but generate a lot of washing. So you need lots of small things. This suits me. So, after a somewhat injudicious thing, the parents said that if I knitted a gnome hat for Pippa, they would put it on her. So I have a gnome hat, and I've gone one better once I can finally disentangle this. I don't like this beard construction, but this is a tiny beard. I think I'm going to improve on this because this is just annoying me. But we will pretend that I am the child. Very convincing. Yes, very convincing. I know, I'm a goober. We also have a baby jumper. Only I got about as far as dividing the arms because it's knitted from the top downwards. and then I decided that I didn't like counting, so this is as much as I've got, but you can see the kind of pattern on this. So this will be the yoke of the sweater just going around. I'm knitting this because it's actually called Pippa, and that is the name of child we were waiting for, so it seemed right. And I've actually made some progress on this now because I've sat down with it. So I'm still working away on the first load of pattern repeats, but it's getting quite long now. Don't come off the end, don't come off the end, please. So that's the central spine going down. So I've got a fair bit of shawl now. We are getting there. And it's so lovely and soft, and it's quite drapey already. Yeah, I like this. So this is in honour of Laurel. So it's nice to have something kind of tactile to think about her and have nice associations. That's good. I like that. And then because obviously I cannot focus on any one project for very long, started more. I know I'm going to have to finish these at some point. I have to finish things at some point. But that point is not today. So this is a little bit of a weird thing. So when my grandma died, about probably 14, 15 years ago now, I think I was doing my AS levels. So we'll say 15. We went through her stuff, and she had a jumper that she'd started making, but she hadn't finished. She'd done the back, she'd done most of the front. She hadn't done the sleeves. There was no pattern, no indication. I think she was probably just making it up as she went along, honestly. So my grandma had a sister. Her sister Dorothy, or Doff as we call her. They used to knit jumpers together. So one of them would do the front and back, the other would do the sleeves. I think they must have just been making this together because they died relatively close to each other as well. So I tried to track down the pattern, I tried to figure it out. I never really got anywhere. And recently, my mum started turning some of Grandma's other yarn into wearable things. And I offered her this. Because it's fluffy and it's also very bright and it's very pink, and those aren't necessarily my thing. But she wasn't interested, so I'm doing something with it. So yesterday I unravelled the bit that hadn't been completely finished and turned it into yarn. I found a pattern, I've started it, but because I already started it, it's an unsatisfying thing to look at, so I brought this out. And basically, I am bigger than I was when I decided I could wear her clothes, so it just makes sense because this wouldn't fit me. I am bigger than I was. So this is going to turn into something nice and wearable. So if I have this shawl so that I can think of Laurel while I'm making it and wearing it, I will also have a fuzzy comfort jumper that reminds me of my grandma and probably also my mum and Doff. It's like a whole swathe of family in there. Because sometimes you have to accept that what you're trying is not working and you have to just start again. Make the best of what you've got. That's what I'm doing with this jumper. So if all else fails, it'll be a fuzzy cushion or something. But I'm going to try at least. Very anticlimactically, the last thing I have made, and I'm still kind of working on it. Do you sense a theme here? There's a theme here. The last thing is making a basket. Making a basket so that I can go foraging and I can carry my plunder. It doesn't need to be hugely stiff because it's just going to sit in my lap on the wheelchair while I go and pick berries and things. But I'm trying to stiffen it. So I crocheted this out of garden twine because it seemed like a good idea at the time. I had a pattern, I didn't like the pattern, so I just ripped it all out and started again and made it up as I went along. So made this basket, then I've braided a handle. It's a 5-strand braid, and then to fix it onto this I've gone around and reinforced, basically just sewed it on, and then I've just been winding the yarn, winding twine into these just to create some stiffening on each side. It looks quite good. Who knew? Like, natural colours and tealy blue. It works. So that's what I'm doing. I still have a needle because I'm also sewing some of this garden twine into the sides to make it a bit more rigid. I mean, really, my idea with this was just to make sure that I didn't get yet more bloody plastic, because this is acrylic. It's plastic. It's lovely plastic, but it's still plastic. I want something that if it breaks and I have to throw it away, won't leave too much of a footprint. So that's what I'm doing there. I do believe that might be everything. But don't worry, I'm sure I'll think of yet more things to start. I may never finish anything. I don't know. I'll get there eventually, maybe. Now, if you'll excuse me, I apparently have a lot of crafting to do. See you soon.